So let's say you enter sports on a minor league level. You got $1 million talent, say like Bull Durham, or a $1 million arm. God is giving you a thunderbolt either in a swing or a throw, and you waste it. Now, this is a cautionary tale, and these recent peccadillos with the cops in relation to domestic battery, we don't want to talk about that too much because it'll be take away from the true aspect of why we're doing this podcast. A couple of followers of the channel wanted me to do something on this guy, and I saw this guy play with Cleveland in the early 1980s because he used to hit Toronto pitching very strong. But because his last name was half Acadian, half Quebecois, he had a lot of Quebec followers saying, who is this guy? So today we're going to be talking about the true victim of the sophomore jinx, Joe Charboneau. Now, born Joseph Charboneau in Belvedere, Illinois, Vidre, different spelling, is an American former pro baseball left fielder and DH who played 3 seasons with the Indians in the early 1980s. His rookie campaign was stellar. Winning the AL Rookie of the Year award in 1980 became a household name, but his career quickly flamed out amidst injuries, specifically a back ailment that never properly healed and restricted him for the next 3 years. Also, his on-field and off-field peccadillos kind of followed him, and that was part of his downfall. He is one of the most off-sided examples of baseball's fabled sophomore jinx, holding the record for fewest career games played in the major leagues by a Rookie of the Year with only 201. Now, debuted April 11, 1980 for the Indians, the 21-year-old Charboneau was drafted in the 6th round of the 76th draft by the Twins, but he decided not to sign with them. Now, when the Phillies made him their second-round pick in the December supplementary draft, he was sent to Class A Western Carolina, where he hit 298 in 43 games, showing power and adeptness at the plate. In 77, he quit the Phillies Carolina League affiliate after fighting with management and went home to Belvedere to play high-end softball. The following year, Minnesota, the team that originally drafted him, gave him another chance, and he was assigned to Visalia of the Cal League. He responded with a .350 average, fourth best in the association. At season's end, though, after participating in a barroom brawl, which allegedly he lost, he was traded to the Indians organization for Major League pitcher Cardell Camper. So he was traded for a camper, literally. Charboneau had a good season in 79, and his nickname started to resonate as Super Joe. He had a .352 average for the Indians AA team in Chattanooga, pacing the Southern League. In 80, it looked like Charboneau was headed up to AAA Charleston until Indian slugger Andre Thornton, again the former Expo, was felled by a knee injury, giving Joe a shot at the big leagues. Now, trouble unfortunately continued to follow him because while in Mexico for an exhibition game on March 8th, a crazed fan, probably a Blue Jay fan, stuck Charboneau with a penknife. Stuck. The knife penetrated 4 inches and hit a rib, almost killing him. But Charboneau played his first regular season game just over a month later on April 11th with the hole still healing. The assailant was duly arrested and fined 50 pesos. And according to Charboneau, in a very heavily quoted comment, that's $2.27 for stabbing a person or $4 in Canadian money. Charboneau noted. Now, Charboneau soon became a fan favorite. Long before Dennis Rodman came on the scene, Charboneau became known for dyeing his hair, as well as his unusual way of consuming beer through his nose. Other stories emerged about he did his own dental work and fixed a broken nose with a pair of pliers and a few shots of Jack Daniels whiskey. By mid-season, Charboneau was the subject of a regional hit, Go Joe Charboneau, that reached number 3 on the Cleveland and region charts. Despite a few nagging injuries late in the season, Charboneau played 131 games in 1980, splitting time between left field and designated hitter. He had a very, very interesting profile on Canadian Toronto Blue Jay Network Baseball on CTV. They basically said this could be the guy who could lead Cleveland back in the playoffs, and this was coming from Tony Kubik, actually. His .289 average, coupled with 23 homers and 87 RBIs, leading a team in both categories, earned Charboneau AL Rookie of the Year, making him the first Indian to claim the award since Chris Chambliss was there in 71 before he came over to the Yankees and won the World Series. Now, when he injured his back in a head-first slide in spring training the following year, He tried to play through the pain, but was hitting only 208 at the time of the 81 made MLB strike that interrupted the season. Just after the players came back in August, though, Charboneau was sent to AAA Charleston, making him the first Rookie of the Year to be returned to the minors the following season. After 18 contests with the Charlies, where he hit just 217, he returned to the big club on call-ups on August 28. His final big league numbers for 81 were 210, 4 homers and 18 RBIs, and 138 at-bats, and Charboneau underwent much-needed back surgery over the winter of 81-82. Now, things did not improve for Charboneau in 82. After only playing 22 games in Indians, Charboneau and his 214 average were shipped back to Charleston, then to AA Chattanooga again. Playing in the same league he had torn apart 3 years earlier, he could only manage a dismal 207 mark. Charboneau endured another back surgery after the season, but seemingly nothing could allow him to regain his timing at the plate. Now, in 1983, while batting 200 for AA Buffalo, Charboneau lost his mind again. He gave jeering fans an obscene gesture. Either he called him number one or used a two-finger salute, which was popular in Canada at the time, leading his quick release. Now, the Pirates were interested in him as well and took a flyer on him in 84, and he managed a 289 average in the Carolina League, though at 29, he was easily the oldest player in the development loop. A shot with the Pirates' AAA team in Hawaii ended up after 15 games, and Super Joe retired from the game. Charboneau did make one more appearance in a baseball uniform that year. Ironically, he was only on celluloid, as he was a very handsome extra in the film The Natural, playing one of Roy Hobbs' teammates. If you look closely, you can see him. Now, Charboneau dabbled in sports management after his retirement and even hosted his own radio show for a time. He returned to baseball in 1999 with the Canton Crocodiles of the Frontier League, serving as hitting instructor, first base coach, and director of baseball operations through 2001. He even stepped in as a pitch hitter in 2000, hitting in single in his only and last pro at-bat. He later worked for several other Frontier League teams in Washington, Windy City, Richmond, and Chillicothe. Charboneau had been the manager of the Laurier County Ironmen, a team playing the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League, a woodbat league allowing college players to play competitive baseball in the off-season. Charboneau was hired to manage the Ironmen by close friend and former fellow Indians outfielder Kevin Romberg, who owned the team. However, the Ironmen folded after the 2019 season. Now, prior to managing the Ironmen, he spent the 2014 season as hitting coach for the Lake Erie Crushers of the Independent Frontier League. He's also been the hitting coach of the Notre Dame College in South Euclid, Ohio, from 2016 on. Now, again, I don't want to get into the criminal complaints against him in the last number of months, but we'll just leave it at that because I don't know exactly the status of this. If this is going to get me in trouble to mention that he was arrested for violence against a woman. Now, Charboneau, again a native of North Ridgeville, Ohio, has 2 children: Tyson, born 79, and Damon, born 81, and 6 grandchildren. It was reported in 2020 that Charboneau suffered a stroke in August of that year, but eventually recovered to a certain extent. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you this. We are not here to judge anybody. We are here to respond to requests from the channel. But all I'm just saying, did that injury hamper him in Major League Baseball? It just takes one injury. We know what happened with Mike Bossy with his back. But Charboneau, when he was on, he was a very, very talented and charismatic player. And Cleveland was kind of the bastard child of the AL East with Toronto. People never took them seriously, but as soon as he arrived, people took Cleveland seriously again. And you really thought, because of Len Barker and other key players, that the Indians would be a factor, and they were later on in the 90s. But the 1980s was some of the few positives were Charboneau in that year. And like I said, he was drawing fans. He was the Mark Fidrich of his year, and just like Mark Fidrich, the sophomore jinx. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here with our baseball podcast, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share. And to let everybody know, we color information from various sources, my own personal reminiscences, baseball reference, Wikipedia, sometimes draft information, various essays. It's not just one category. And this is public domain stuff for the people that don't want to read it. I present as much accurate and informative information as I can. But I can comment on a lot of things that have occurred from 1970, 69 in baseball to my key years before after the Expos, failed, and the resurgence of the Blue Jays in the 2015, 16s, and 70s. There was a lot of good players that it's public domain information. So if you're insulted by me quoting from Wikipedia or Baseball Reference or MLB archives or NHL archives or NFL archives, well, how the hell are we going to get the information? This is I'm not a computer here. I'm giving you information that's in the public domain. And like I said, you would want to hear it because there could be some points you've never heard of before, like by reminiscence. Like, did you know that he would rarely do interviews with the Blue Jays people? I think he only did one or two. Now, was he game of the week as well? That's another question. But like 1981 with the strike year, everybody was saying, oh, the great season of Joe Charboneau and all that. He put a lot of pressure on the Indians in 81. And, he was talented, but like I said, $1 million talent and a 5-cent brain because he made wrong decisions. And if he would have slid better, he wouldn't have got injured, didn't he? Have a good one, and don't forget, keep your stick in the ice. Bye.